Chapter 10. If you've seen the previous chapters, I always start out with, this is from God's book, Isaiah 53, in the day of the Lord, He dictated to me, as He dictated the Torah to Moses, and the books of the prophets to the prophets, and other individuals, such as for Samuel's 1 and 2, Kings 1 and 2, the writings. This is the cup of God's wrath. God's words, Scripture, divinely received. None of this is mine. I don't take any credit for the knowledge, but it's a proof. He gave Moses 3 proofs, He gave me 3 proofs. And this is the primary proof. This knowledge that no sage or rabbi has ever had before me. A Gentile from Texas, an atheist for 50 years. No religious affiliations whatsoever. Had never read the Bible at age 50 when God spoke to me. Came to me at birth, orchestrated my life. They didn't speak to me and tell me until I was 50. God removes His wrath from the Jewish people. Thus said the Lord, your God who champions His people. Herewith I take from your hand the cup of reeling, the bowl, the cup of my wrath. You shall never drink it again. That's chapter Isaiah 51. My description starts in 52. Guess what servant He's going to use initially to bring that wrath? Yeah, it would be me. And I'm trying to enlist the other rabbis by telling them, God's got you in a stranglehold. You're not going to see the Jewish heaven. Well, the school remembers, you don't teach this book. I'm teaching it now, but you need to go tell all your followers, Toby the singer, Jews for Judaism, that you got it wrong. And straighten out Judaism for God. You're His servant. You're not His righteous servant, but you're His servant. And get a temple built while you're at it. Can't believe y'all don't teach that. My wrath, you shall never drink it again. I will put it in the hands of your tormentors who have commanded you, get down, that we may walk all over you, so that you made your back like the ground, like a street for passersby. Isaiah chapter 51, verses 22 and 23. The cup of the wrath of God. And that would be against the tormentors. That's Christianity. They took the book God gave His children, His chosen, and attached it to their New Testament like it was their book. And we know all about the Pogroms, the Holocaust, everything that went on in Spain. It's never been an easy road for the Jewish people, and never will be. They're here to test the world, and they have to do it continually. And the world continues to fail. Christianity fails. Islam fails. Period. Because of your hatred for the Jewish people. And Christians, don't tell me you don't hate them. You can act like you like them because you think you're superior to them. But you also say they must believe in Jesus. And what kind of things that to say from somebody that you like? Why can't they believe in the God they want to? Who are you? God says He's going to pull you from your high peaks. No, it's in here. And He's going to use me initially. You know, if I get the many-made righteous to make a lot of noise about who I am, that alone is going to start the wrath upon the Christian people. They're not going to believe it. If they ever hear me explain 53 and 11 of Isaiah, it's going to hit them like a punch to the stomach. Because you can't argue with me. I explain it too properly as it is. Or they can, okay, God says they can argue with anything. All right. And God says, nevermore shall you be Okay. This wrath was not passed in the time of Jesus, who said He was the man described in 53, which means 51 would have had to occur. After the death of Jesus came the destruction of Jerusalem and the temple by Rome, the dispersal of the Jewish people throughout the world, Christianity, Mohammad and Islam, the Spanish Inquisition, That's what I was referring to. Numerous pogroms and the Holocaust. And God says, nevermore shall you be called forsaken, nor shall your land be called desolate, but you shall be called, I delight in her, and your land espoused. For the Lord takes delight in you, and your land shall be espoused. That's Isaiah 64:4. You want me to quit now? I don't know. I'm done. You sure don't act like it. Take it easy, okay? I'm trying to finish this up. Yes, I talked to him like that. I lived with him for 16 years and he's been a complete ass. He controls my words, by the way. I can't say that on my own, and I wouldn't have put it on a video. He did that. Oh, who knows what he's up to. Apparently that will be good for somebody. This did not happen in the days of Jesus, and thereafter as the land lay desolate for over 2,000 years without the temple of God, and taunts and violence and hateful writings of the Jewish people abounded. So, if I stand up, that blurring goes away. I don't know why. It's the autofocus. We're almost done here. The infamous The Jews and Their Lies by Martin Luther, the great Christian. The Jewish people have returned to the land of Israel from the Roman dispersal, and by their toil have made the desolate land bloom as God said it would in a time to come. The cup of God's reeling and wrath has passed to the tormentors of the Jewish people, those who told the Jewish people to get down and walked all over them, Christianity. And God returns. Who is this coming from Adam, in crimson garments from Basra? Who is this majestic in attire, pressing forward in his great might? It is I, who contend victoriously, powerful to give triumph. That's God, coming from Adam, Gentile lands. Isaiah 63, verse 1. In the Talmud, Edom is described as the eternal enemy of Israel and Judah, who not only always oppressed Israel, but at the time of the destruction of the first temple, took advantage of the situation and seized control of parts of Judah. And it is hinted that Edom also took part in the destruction of Jerusalem. And even in that of the temple itself. At the end of the Tanaitic period, and still more in the Amoraic, the identification became very widespread. The overwhelming majority of homilies about Edom speak explicitly of Rome. It was stated that Rome was founded by the children of Esau. That's Jacob's brother. And he never married a Jewish woman. All of his children were Gentiles. And they, I guess, made Edom wherever. These identifications occur in the Midrashim and the Talmud, but also in the Palestinian Targums of the Torah and in the Targums to Lamentations and Esther. Edom became a synonym for Christian Rome, and after the fall of Rome, to Christianity. The Lord has a sword. It is sated with blood. It is gorged with fat, the blood of lambs and he-goats, the kidney fat of rams. For the Lord holds a sacrifice in Basra, a great slaughter in the land of Edom. That's Isaiah chapter 34, verse 6. Basra was to Edom as Jerusalem is to Israel. This is a prophetic announcement by God, written by his prophet Isaiah, of his wrath on Christianity. God has a sword sated with blood, wrath. It is gorged with the fat of lambs, Christianity and their unblemished lamb. And he-goats, a clean animal for Jewish dietary laws, by the shepherds of God's flock, the kidney fat of rams. Well, this would be for those who believe Isaiah 53 is a guilt offering of unblemished rams, who are the Jewish people in the Holocaust, such as Rabbi Singer and some number of his 66,000 followers. This is a reference to utter destruction in the land, a sword in the land of Malachi, that's in Malachi 3, if the purpose of Elijah does not prosper, because the Jewish people will not recognize the prophet. And to this day they don't. Book's been done 5 years. The video started when COVID started. And they're all being updated. I know they're in terrible shape. The Lord coming from Edom is mentioned by many of the prophets in the Bible. The Lord was not allowed to pass through Edom in the Exodus with Moses and the Jewish people. This is an event yet to occur. The interpretation of this prophecy that the prophet like Moses with God, as God was with Moses in the Exodus, will come from Edom, the Christian world. Of the Jewish people, none are with God. He comes with a Gentile from the Christian world. I live in Houston, Texas, America, Christian country. And that Gentile is God's righteous servant, Moshiach, who God specifically describes for the day of the Lord. He is God's visible representation and speaker and writer of his words as Moses was. He is the prophet like Moses. God said he will put his words in his mouth and he will speak to the Jewish people all that God commands him. That was for Moses. That's true of me too. Deuteronomy chapter 15 verse 8. I will raise up a prophet for them from among their own people, like yourself. That would be the Israelites. I will put my words in his mouth, and he will speak to them all that I command him. Well, there's two ways to handle that. I'm either going to convert in Jerusalem when we get to Israel to Orthodox Judaism, or, as God says, I don't care if the prophecy is fulfilled or not. You're doing what Moses did, and that's all I really care about. And the other way of looking at it is, before the halakha, the Jewish law, you have King David. And I am on his ancestral tree, and he was one of the greatest Israelites ever. And I'm a descendant of his. Very small, a twig, but a descendant nevertheless. Okay, next chapter, chapter 11, Torah written on every heart. And I'm going to take a break. We've been going since about 4:30 or 5. And it's almost 8. Takes a while. It's not easy. We're just on 11. I got 50 chapters. It takes forever to upload to YouTube from this camera.